In life, sometimes you have those pinch me moments. The moments you can't quite believe are real. And today, that's exactly what's happened. Because today, I'm in Thirsk, driving one of Twisted's Defenders. So what exactly do we have here? Well, this is one of Twisted's 2016 plate demonstrator vehicles. It's fitted with the 2.3 litre petrol turbo engine producing 308 horsepower. It's ULEZ compliant, which is why they've sold so many to London. Imagine driving around Knightsbridge in one of these. You can keep your G-Wagons because I'd be taking the Defender all day long. I mean, look at it. I've just driven essentially off-road in it. It doesn't even bat an eyelid. This thing's properly tough. It looks amazing. So just walking round the vehicle, as you can see, it pretty much looks like any other Defender, and that's what makes it really cool. Round the front, obviously you can see it's got the Twisted badging there and a really nice big grille. It's got modern headlights, everything you need really to daily drive this thing. It just looks incredible. Even when you look underneath here, it's the details that really do make a difference. All that Twisted logo cut into the sump guard there. Really cool. The front of it has so much presence. I don't think the camera will be doing this justice, and obviously with it being so windy and cold, I don't know how it's going to look, but yeah, it's an absolute beast. And to be fair, the weather hasn't really spoilt it. This thing is in its natural habitat. This car, being the demonstrator, has all the usual Twisted upgrades, which include suspension work. It's got these unique Twisted wheels. They've even developed their own wheel bolt. That's how far Twisted go to make this a Twisted Defender. So anyone familiar with Defenders will know that sometimes when you look at the bodywork, it's all rippled down here. As you can see, this is straight, like unbelievably. It looks like a new car. These cars are totally taken apart by Twisted. They're rebuilt from the ground up, not with the intention of getting rid of what the Defender stands for, but enhancing Defender, making Defender a daily driver, making it something that I can drive. Round the back of this ginormous car, I mean, look at it. It's huge. It's got separate, the wheel's so big, it's got to have a separate mount just for the spare wheel, because I guess it would just rip the door off. I mean, it's huge. It's got a ladder, essential, and what a great number plate. Fantastic number plate. It's just so tricked out, it's unreal. I absolutely love the way this car looks. I know everyone on this channel watches it for Porsches, but you really do have to appreciate the Twisted Defender. You have to appreciate the Defender, but this is the Defender 2.0. This is improved, and I absolutely love it. It's an awesome opportunity given to me by Twisted. So anyway, let's have a look inside this Twisted Defender, because that's where it starts to get quite interesting, shall we say. Transforms it from an agricultural vehicle into something that rivals a G-Wagon. So opening up the door, and it opens smooth. Again, all of these things I'm mentioning, they're not going to be that relevant to people that haven't driven Defenders. If you've driven a Defender, you'll know what I'm talking about. So inside, as you can see, it's got gorgeous Recaro CS sport seats, heated of course, lovely leather. The leather is unbelievably soft. Like that's Porsche levels of leather quality right there. Dashboard remains unchanged, which I love. It's got a manual car, this one. It's got a low range gearbox. Just tons of room, but the spec in here. Alcantara up the top, lovely and soft. And wow, I mean, everything has been retrimmed. Everything you touch feels solid. It's got a little steering wheel. It's quite a small steering wheel for such a big car. But yeah, I mean, everything has been, everywhere you look, it's just more leather trimmed goodness, and yeah, it's everywhere and it feels amazing. The doors close really nicely. Look at that. It's like a Golf. Let's have a look in the back. Excuse all my rubbish, but again, the leather trim continues down the back. The backs of the seats, again, all in leather. These are normally plastic, if I remember rightly. These are similar to what you get on a Megane Renault Sport, and yeah, it just, oh, it's lovely. You got the little windows up at the top. And lovely dark headliner. I mean, this thing looks like a G-Class. It looks like a G-Wagon. Now, it's the attention to detail of Twisted Defenders that just totally separates them from anything you've seen before. Don't think of this as just a modified Defender, because it isn't. The attention to detail to put this car basically right. What Twisted do is they take a Defender and they put it together like it always should have been. These cars are notoriously badly put together. They're very reliable and they obviously work off-road, but they are a military vehicle. What Twisted do is transform it into something that you could genuinely use, genuinely commute to work in, and have as a family car. And that's astonishing, because when you look at it, I'm sorry, but there's no G-Wagon on the road that looks as cool as this. I'm a huge fan of this. But anyway, without any further waffle from me, we're going to take this car out on the roads, see what it drives like. I tell you what, it's quite difficult to get in and out of. I'm not going to lie, getting in and out of the Porsche is a lot easier. Let's have a little drive, take the car back to Twisted. Now we've had it out for some time, and I will try and do my best to explain what it's been like. First thing you notice, it's quite a big car. It's not that difficult to place on the road, but it is a very, very large car compared with what I'm used to. I've never driven anything as big as this, I don't think. And although Twisted have made it so much more modern, so much more usable, it still has that agricultural feel that I think people buy Defenders for. They've not lost the Defender in making this Defender. And that, I think, is what's key. Twisted don't try to reinvent it, they don't try and change the characteristics of the car, because that's what people love about them. There's nowhere to put your right arm. That is still true. The whole dashboard looks exactly the same, and the outside the car looks obviously exactly the same. The differences between, from what I've heard, because I've never driven a standard Defender, is that they're quite difficult to drive. I'm fairly competent in a car, I can jump in and out of all sorts of different cars, but I think even I would struggle with a standard Defender. The steering and the brakes and everything that goes with it, they're meant to be pretty tricky to drive. This, you can take both hands off the wheel, and the car keeps tracking straight and true. And I don't think that's what the original Defender used to do. I think they're quite wallowy, a bit weird to drive. So like I said earlier, this car is fitted with Twisted's 2.3 litre engine. It's a Ford unit and it's turbocharged. Gives the car 308 horsepower, and it sounds pretty epic. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can hear the turbo spooling, you get a bit of turbo whistle. All sounds pretty cool. No diesel rattle here. The benefit with that is obviously 308 horsepower in a Defender is quite plentiful. The car picks up really well. You don't feel like you're lacking power. This makes a really good choice, and it's been really popular for Twisted. They've sold a lot of these cars, and a lot of them have gone down to London. With it being ULEZ compliant, makes a very sensible choice. And I can see why you would want one of these in London. It looks so cool. Sometimes when cars are out of place, they look at their best, and I think this is a classic example of that. You take this somewhere inappropriate, such as a city, and it will look so much cooler. I'll pop in the description the price of this car, because I can't remember off the top of my head and I don't want to misquote them, but I'll put the link in the description of the car. It's quite a lot of money, but I think what you're getting, it's value for money. If you've seen my previous video, if you haven't, click the link in the top of the screen now, and that will take you to Twisted's video where I did a full factory tour and showroom tour. And that really explains the value you're getting from a Twisted vehicle. There's a one-man, one-car ramp policy, so one person will have done this car. They go through thorough checks before they're released to customers, and they're always developing new things and trying to improve the Land Rover Defender. This was one of the last registered Land Rover Defenders bought by Twisted from Land Rover in order to do it up and sell it on. This, being the demonstrator, is fitted with all of Twisted's special parts. It's got this gorgeous interior that I showed you earlier. The seats are immensely comfortable. As you'd imagine, being Recaros, they hold you in. They're very, very comfortable, and they do suit the car. Gives it a James Bond feel. I do feel like a James Bond character driving this, and possibly a villain. It's kind of a bad looking car, isn't it? It makes you feel rugged, and yeah. I can see myself driving one of these. One of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video is when I put the video out there about Twisted, a lot of people said, I own a Porsche and also a Defender. Turns out the two cross over lots and lots of times, so a lot of Porsche owners do like their Defenders. And Twisted have numerous customers that have Porsches and Twisted Defenders. So there obviously is a keen interest between both vehicles, and I thought it would be really good to share that with you. I'm not here to suggest that the steering and the brakes and the gearbox are all really light and really easy to use. They're not. They're quite tough. As you can see, I'm having to put quite a lot of effort into turning. And when it comes to turning back round the bend, the steering wheel's small, and it does require quite a lot of effort to get it pointing in the right direction. So it still means you have to work the car. And I think that's what people love about Twisted Defenders. You could put every single modern piece of equipment in this car and take away the essence of Defender. And what Twisted have managed to do with this car is retain the Defender, but make it more accessible, more easy to use, and crucially, a daily driver. This is no ordinary Defender, and granted, I think if I drove a normal one, it probably wouldn't have the same appeal to me. What appeals to me about this is the fit and finish, and the way that this thing can be driven by pretty much anyone. I've just jumped in it straight from a Porsche and had no issues at all, and that is what I love about the Twisted Defender. I do intend to come out to Twisted and give a car a bit more of a thorough test. So hopefully in the summer, with the longer evenings, we'll be able to do just that. So if you are interested in seeing more Defender content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.